If you have rats in your attic or walls, don't make the mistake of putting out poison or wasting money with a company that charges you monthly to check rat traps. Rat Proof. For a one-time fee, Rodent Stop will identify and seal all rat entry points, trap and remove all rats, sanitize your attic to remove any nasty viruses, and remove and replace all rat nest-infested attic insulation. Rodent Stop is so confident that they can stop your rat and mice problems that they provide a lifetime guarantee. Read all the 5-star reviews on Yelp. If you have rats or mice in your house or business, call Rodent Stop at 800-290-5343. 800-290-5343. We provide fast, friendly, and effective rodent control solutions throughout Southern California. Plus, our technicians are clean, friendly, and always on time. To stop the rodents, call Rodent Stop at 800-290-5343. Open 24 hours. Call 800-290-5343. My name is Chris Moody, host of the new podcast, Finding Matt Drudge. I'll be taking you on a journey to find the mysterious media mogul Matt Drudge, founder of the Drudge Report. Along the way, I'll talk to people who have worked with him, dined with him, and fought with him, taking listeners into private conversations, all in an attempt to get a better understanding of who Drudge is and what motivates him. Hopefully, you'll even sit down with us. Listen to Finding Matt Drudge on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcast. Metro officials unveiled the new name for the West Santa Ana branch line, the Southeast Gateway Line. Gateway to what? Why is it called like Coach Rogelli? Because you know exactly who it's serving, where it's going. Live 7 to 10 p.m. on KFI and on demand anytime on the iHeartRadio app. And this is KFI AM 640. Bill Hampton here. Wednesday morning, January 31. Sorry, last day of January. Yes, it is a hump day. We have to have some music for Taco Tuesday too, Neil. And we have to figure out Thursday because if we have hump day Wednesday and Taco Tuesday, I know we have food Friday, but that's just sort of ours. You really do. You want to theme out the whole week? I think so. Yeah. You know, you're good at that. We let you do that. Tuesday, the Humpty Hump. Yeah. Thursday is Thursday. I don't know. Food Friday is ours, so we don't have to do that.
Thursday.
And Sleepy Saturday. Yeah. Do they have a case Monday? Can we do something with that? There's already a song. Wayne wrote one. Yeah, he wrote lots of them, but I don't know. Every once in a while, it'll just take off and be accepted. Or I gotta reinvent the Wayne. That's what I say. Yeah, there you go. All right. Welcome back, everybody. Bottom of the hour is, as we always do on a Wednesday. Today, Handle and the House Whisperer, and it's Building Your Dream House Part 4. Okay, now, listen what's going on at UCLA and UC Riverside. There you had a bunch of students that are petitioning the school to remove Starbucks from campuses. You know, Starbucks are in college campuses all over the country. All right? You know, people go to college like going to a Starbucks. In fact, coffee is a big part of going to college because you stay up. You know, and the cost of amphetamines has increased dramatically since the time I used to do amphetamines. In college, law school, I lived on coffee. Of course, I wasn't at the school. I was working, but, you still live on coffee. So here's what's going on. You got a bunch of students who are very unhappy with Starbucks, and not because they think Starbucks is doing, or the Starbucks organization doing anything to them or to school. It's a solidarity issue, because they're accusing Starbucks of union busting. And they are saying, okay, because you are union busters, therefore we want you off the campus. Now, the problem is they want the campus to become political, and that is pro-union, as opposed to anti-corporation. Now, that gets really interesting as to how much politics should be involved in a school. And look, for example, you see the demonstrations going on. Well, students demonstrate, as far as what's going on in the Middle East, both sides question. That's what students do. category. And traditionally, historically, they just do better. They get better benefits, they get more money, and that is historical. Now, Starbucks is arguing, wait a minute, new corporations do that. There are companies that tell their employees, listen, you're doing better than anything the unions can get you, and they buy it. And it's true. And so they go not to unionize. And so the students are saying it really doesn't matter. Because they're not talking about money. They're not talking about the Starbucks doesn't give the benefits. Starbucks gives, for example, I think medical, profit sharing to part-time employees. They start people at, I think, let me get this right, I think $17 an hour. And the story reads that right now, a store in California is $17 an hour. And under the contract we drafted, not union, drafted with the people that work for us, no one is going to make less than $20 an hour. And that's what I'm reading. Is that true? I mean, people will email me and say, no, that's not true. So I don't know the answer to that. But I do know Starbucks is one of the better companies out there in terms of employees. You know how many people have left iHeart to go to Starbucks? We've got middle management here that have left this company to become baristas. They just do a pretty good job. And so is the university going to cave? You know, I don't know. Union busters. Oh, by the way, when a company is fighting the union under federal law, what a union can do is actually go into a company and have meetings to establish the union, and the company has to let them do that. Has to set aside rooms, has to let them have their pamphlets, have to let union representatives talk to them, and any violation of that goes to the National Labor Relations Board. Let me tell you, it is very pro-union. Certainly in California, we're very pro-union. Arizona, Nevada, not so much. Not so much. So which way are they going to go? Well, I hope that the universities don't cave. And UC Riverside officials, by the way, said that full-time non-management workers at Starbucks are already university employees, and they work at Starbucks. They're already represented by a union. And students don't care. I don't care. Because Starbucks is trying to bust the union in New York, we want you to throw Starbucks out here. By the way, you don't pay for all of this, getting the petitions, having meetings with these students, peach coffee. No? Are they just going to change every 4 years? They're going to get a new group of students in and go, no, now we want Starbucks here. Yeah. Probably one comes in, yeah, no, we don't want Starbucks. Yeah. Okay, guys, we're done. Coming up, Scandal and the House Whisperer, Building Your Dream House, Part 4. And that's with Dean Sharp right here. Let's check in with Amy King live in the KFI 24-hour newsroom.
Close to 300 sex buyers have been arrested in L.A. County as part of an annual human trafficking sting.
And 193 of them were arrested in the city of L.A. LAPD Deputy Chief Alan Hamilton says during the recent week-long effort, officers rescued a 14-year-old girl. He had a total of 9 juvenile victims that he rescued. The suspect who was trafficking this young victim, who was our youngest victim rescued this year, and actually been trafficking her since the age of 13. Operation Reclaim and Rebuild mobilized 95 local, state, and federal agencies around California to conduct massive sweeps and undercover operations. Steve Gregory, KFI News.
A new bill in California could let therapists and social workers decide if a patient needs mandatory detention. Currently, police officers decide when someone needs to be held in a mental health facility for 72 hours. The bill says licensed professionals should be able to decide without police intervention. Data shows from 2020 to 21, more than 120,000 adult holds were issued. California Police Chiefs Association supported the bill introduced Monday. DNA has led to a 140-year prison sentence for a twin brother convicted of kidnapping and raping a 9-year-old girl and a jogger in Orange County. DA Todd Spitzer says both twins were arrested in 2019.
Was the genetic genealogy pointing to both so-called twins and Kevin Conker's admissions to his brother while being secretly recorded that resulted in his conviction.
Fisher says Kevin Conker also lived in the area when the rape happened in the late 90s. The guy was also sentenced Friday for molesting his former girlfriend's daughter. The FBI director said to warn lawmakers about the threat of Chinese cyber attacks against the U.S. ABC Sandy Field says Christopher Wray will tell the House Chinese Communist Party the U.S. isn't doing enough to stop China from targeting critical electrical grids, oil pipelines, and transportation.
Intelligence officials say those attacks could cost the U.S. trillions and threaten lives. That Congress must make sure they devote resources to stopping future Chinese cyber attacks.
Hackers in China last year breached the email accounts of the State Commerce Department. Officials said the hacking campaign lasted about a month. The only Starbucks in downtown Pomona is closing because of problems with homeless people. The front door has been slammed so hard it broke. An employee was spit on. Grab-and-go items have been stolen. And hygiene apparently an issue. The store's manager says they're closing in a couple of weeks for the safety of their partners and customers. That Starbucks at Mission Boulevard and Gary Avenue has been open for 20 years. It will close at 4 p.m. February 14th. Southland weather from KFI should be dry today with a mix of sun and clouds. Highs in the mid-60s at the coast, 60s to low 70s inland, 50s and 60s in the high desert. Rain rolls in tonight with heavy rain times expected at times tomorrow. 60 gusty winds and thunderstorms too. Chance of rain on Friday and Saturday, then rain likely again on Sunday and into next week. It's 56 in Garden Grove, 56 Laguna Beach. We've got a crash in Inglewood on the 405. Let's check in with the KFI in the sky.
Yes, the 405 as you head northbound right before Manchester. Crash there on the right shoulder. Traffic is stopped back from the 105. Further north on the 405, this item Mission Hill, south outside between Devonshire and Sunset Boulevard. That's basically the stretch of all the slowing areas where you head south and try to get out of the valley. In the Downey area, the 5 northbound between Florence and Lakewood Boulevard, lots of work lights there. And if you're coming down to the Godwin Pass from the high desert, not a bad drive. Looking for trouble there, but not finding much. So that's finally some good news there. Unfortunately, very slow on the 101 out of Woodland Hills. The south or eastbound side of the 101 jam. And we're heading on down to the, basically, the Hollywood Strip. It's the 170 and the 134. Do a full fire. KFI in the sky. We're always talking about sweet games, active insurance for good reason. Here's a story that proves why you should never take an insurance company alone if you're hurt in an accident. One of our listeners was seriously injured in a trucking accident. Guess what the insurance company offered him for his injury? Zero. Nothing. We called Sweet Games, and not only did they get him the medical care he needed, but they secured a whopping $10 million win. Life-changing, right? In the legal system, having the right attorney makes all the difference, and that's why you call a firm known for consistently delivering the top results in the state. Call 809-million. That's 809-million. You won't pay a dime until they win your case. Every case is unique, and they can't promise an outcome, but you need to have an experienced team by your side. And don't wait to call, because waiting may hurt your case. Call Sweet Games at 809-million. That's 809-000-000. Sweet Games.
The 11th Fair is on at Whole Foods Market. With sizzling sales on animal welfare certified New York strip steak, sustainable wild-caught lobster tails, and more through Valentine's Day. Find deals on all your delicious desires at Whole Foods Market.
Need help managing junk at your office? Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK to make it disappear. I feel incredible because I called 1-800-QUEST Medical. This is Jacob Emma. If you've been in a truck accident, call 844-24-JACOB.
I should feel safe living in Los Angeles, but I don't. That's why I'm voting for Judge Craig Mitchell to be our next district attorney.
I'm Judge Craig Mitchell. As a criminal court judge for almost 20 years, I see what is happening on our streets. Robberies, home burglaries, murders. We need a district attorney who is not afraid to say, enough is enough. The far left agenda is only benefiting those who commit crimes, not protecting law-abiding citizens or providing justice for the victims of crime. A common sense approach is needed. It is what I do in my courtroom every day. It is what I will do as your district attorney. Please vote for me, Judge Craig Mitchell.
Page 4, Mitchell for District Attorney 2024.
At one of the most famous restaurants in the world, here's a table in the corner. The reservation on the planet. Safe for the restaurant's owner and her hand-picked personal guest, Ruthie Rogers and her River Cafe Table 4. That's where the most incredible conversations on the planet are happening every week, captured in her very special podcast with guests like Will Ferrell.
My dinner one night, pasta, and the only thing I had was some mustard. My roommate at the time was like, "You can borrow some of my tomato sauce." I'm like, "Oh no, I prefer the mustard."
Martha Stewart
I did not have an affair with Michael Caine, but I did have an affair with one of his best friends.
and Jimmy Fallon.
We were the most boring people to ever say our best I don't know, it's so fun.
Yeah.
Good moment. We like to go right to the separate. We're happy in the bull.
We saved you a seat. It's all in her very intimate podcast, Ruthie's Table 4. Listen to Ruthie's Table 4 on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts.
AMR, AM 640. The news, what it means, why it matters.
Hi, AM 640, Bill Handle here. It is a Wednesday morning, hump day, and boy, there's a lot going on today. The president has said he has decided how he is, or we, the United States military, is going to respond to the militia backed by Iran that attacked that U.S. Army base and killed 3 servicemen, and actually 1 servicewoman and 2 servicemen. And we don't know what the attack is. We have no idea what the response is. And the president obviously is not going to share that with us. And he did say it will be at our time, our place, and to how we're going to do it, we will decide how to do it, clearly. Now, let's do it. It's Wednesday morning at 8:30, and as always, it's a segment of Handle and the House Whisperer.
I'm with you.
And it is my turn. Home with Dean, Saturday morning 6 to 8, just before Handle on the Law, Sundays 9 a.m. to 12. And he is at home with Dean is his address. Dean, good morning. Good morning, Bill. Okay, building your dream house, part 4. Let's go to that. We are right in the middle here on the show of doing an ongoing series at the beginning of the year where we've taken a lot of our content that we normally dish out over the course of the year and we're putting it in a kind of order so that people can understand not only the information but the process of like, okay, how do we get from point A to point B and move along? And so, yeah, we're up to steps 4 and 5 now for this weekend. Step 4 being the chicken or the egg. Where do you actually start your design? Okay, so next week we're going to do part 5. Actually, this weekend I'm doing part 5 as well. Okay, so we're going to hear it next weekend or next week also, so people can hear the last part 5. Do I have that right? This weekend, part 4 and 5. Got it. All right. Both steps. Okay. So let's do it. Tell us a little bit about part 4. So chicken or the egg? Basically answering the question, where does your design process begin? This is something that is universally frustrating to most homeowners because they're so anxious to dive into it and they've got all these thoughts floating around in their head. They just don't know where to start. It's a very simple question, but an important one. So, I'm ready to start, but where do I start? Let's say, for instance, we're designing a kitchen. And this applies basically in our whole series, by the way, to whether you're remodeling the whole house or you're building a brand new house from the ground up, or you're just working on one room. All the principles apply. So let's say, we're tackling a kitchen redesign. You're ready, you're going to gut this whole kitchen, you're going to start brand new. Where do you start? I have clients stare at me and say, I don't know, do we pick out the counters first? Or flooring? Is it the tile? Is it the, cabinet color? Where do I start? And the question is, well, you can approach this 2 ways. Either you can stay confused because, the endless paradox of the chicken and the egg, there is no answer to it. Or you can just accept the fact that both chickens and eggs are delicious and order yourself a plate and get started. And that's what I tell my clients. Listen, what's in your head when it comes to this area? What's the first thing that springs to your head? What's your biggest
start with that as a given, and then we'll start working cabinet color and counters and tile from there. If it's the tile that's stuck in your mind, oh, I saw this photo and I've always wanted a backsplash just like this, then we start there. The point is, whatever it is the leading item on your wish list is for that space, as far as the material is concerned, is really start there, and we'll start crafting everything else around it.
All right, so a couple things that have to be very, very difficult today, and one of them, of course, is arranging financing. It has to cost you far, far more than even a year ago. So people have to be very frustrated with that. Also, just the cost of building materials themselves have increased, and tell me if I'm right, at least 30%.
Well, building materials are up, but they have come back down quite a bit from post-COVID time. Yeah, we saw a massive increase, and they've settled back down at a lower. But yeah, right now we're still in a place where it is a little more expensive to build on the material side than where things were pre-COVID. But most of it is not out of reach for most people, and again, this is why making these decisions about what your biggest priorities are in a space like a kitchen, that's the most important process of actually saving your budget along the way, because most people are really thinking in terms of 2 or 3 game-changing ideas in their new kitchen, and that means that not everything has to be the Rolls Royce of materials going in. So if we prioritize the things that are in fact most important, then we can allocate money in the budget towards them, and we can find ways of saving money on the things that are not as important.
And so let me ask you, I know you're not involved in the financial part of it, but right now my head is spinning towards that because I'm going back to when I remodeled and going back to when I built. Today, and that is it's harder to get the money for a remodel than it is a new build. Do you happen to know where the world is going on that? And I'm not going to hold you to it because I know you don't do the money part.
Actually, HELOCs are the most common tool that are used. So, lines of credit against the equity on your home. Most people will enter into some kind of a HELOC, which is an ongoing line of credit for a construction loan. Of course, it has a due date, but it's pretty easy to work with most of them, and most finance companies are pretty open to that idea along the way. What's gone, and I think gone forever, Bill, back in the day, probably back when you built the Persian Palace and, 20, 30 years ago, we could all look at saying maybe taking a second out on the house. Second mortgages are a thing of the past. They are virtually, I think, impossible to find. I am doing one forever. So now you really got to make a decision between a line of credit, on the house and that individual tool, or refinancing the house and taking cash out, and that is tough these days because interest rates are higher. That means changing the entire structure of your mortgage payment.
Okay, and so let's talk about the people that you get to do this. And over the last couple of years, we have seen, or certainly over the last several years, we have seen where you have people in the construction business desperate for work, and so many just got out of the construction business. And there are times when you just can't find people that are willing to work because there is such a dearth of people out there that are out there in the market that will build your house. So what's going on in that regard?
Well, what's going on in that regard is probably the same thing that's been going on since day one, and that is that good contractors are in short supply, and bad contractors are everywhere you turn. So, what we do, it's one of those areas where, again, I advise people, slow it down, take your time. Now, if you're in an emergency situation where you just got to push something through, then okay, that's understandable. But rushing time on your project, you're never going to end up with the best project, the best process, or the best results at the end. Find the contractors that you want to use and get in line. That's my best advice. Even if it means that the project's going to wait 18 months for that one contractor to be available, it is worth it because you're going to be living in this home for decades to come.
All right, we're going to take a break. We'll be back, and we'll continue on with part 4 of Building Your Dream House with Dean Sharp. We're sticking with Dean King live in the KFI 24-hour news.
watches are up in Orange County, the Apple, Lucerne, and Coachella Valleys, and the mountains of Riverside and San Bernardino counties as the first of 2 storms head into Southern California. Forecasters say 2 to 4 inches of rain is possible before these storms move out. Iranian-backed Houthi rebels in Yemen say they plan to keep up attacks against U.S. and British warships in the Red Sea. A spokesman says they're targeting the ships because the U.S. and Britain are participating in what it calls aggression against their country. The U.S. and Britain support Israel's war against Hamas. State Senator Scott Wiener has introduced a bill that would allow people to drink alcohol on public streets and sidewalks, kind of like in Las Vegas. Wiener says the designated entertainment zones would activate downtown streets where activity has struggled to rebound from the pandemic. Partly cloudy skies on the way today with highs in the 60s to low 70s. As I mentioned, the rain is expected to start overnight and last through tomorrow. This report brought to you by Indeed.com. Let's check in with DKFI in the sky. We've got slowing in NoHo on 170.
Yes, NoHo in NoHo, southbound side of the 170. As the brakes start to get pretty heavy there at Victory Boulevard as you head southbound. It is slow all the way down to the Arts District there. It gets a little bit better once you get past the Hollywood District, the 101 and the 170. Continuing south on the 101, it's slow down to the Columbia Pass. So kind of a slower than usual drive on the stretch. Southbound 101 is probably going to get past the Boulevard on down to the 4-level interchange. If you are trying to get out of Inglewood or through Inglewood on the 405 northbound before Manchester, crash there on the right shoulder. That's traffic slow from the 105. And the southbound side of the 405 pretty slow out of the valley, starting at Victory as you make your way on down to Sunset Boulevard. Will Coles driver, KFI in the sky.
New year, new hiring needs? Indeed's end-to-end solution helps you attract, interview, and hire candidates all year round. Schedule and conduct virtual interviews right from your Indeed dashboard. Learn more by visiting Indeed.com/credit. This report is sponsored by Whole Foods Market. Save on snacking staples at Whole Foods Market. Prime members buy 3 bags of kettle and late July chips, get 1 free through February 6th. Don't miss out on the delicious crunch of your favorite flavors while supplies last. Shop in-store or online. Terms apply.
If you're looking to sell your home on Sellers Advantage, they'll make you a cash offer with no need for repairs. With Sellers Advantage, there are no agents taking closing days. They buy with cash. They may even offer a $10,000 advance to help with moving. Check out their reviews online. Call for no obligation offer. 888-321-AS-IS. 888-321-AS-IS. 888-321-2747. SellersAdvantage.com. Don't worry, self-traffic. DRA number 0961658.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and that's why it's frightening you to come. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocate is different. DRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-506-9295. Don't lose hope. DRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. There is zero risk to you. If we can't reduce your tax debt, then you pay nothing. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have a 5-star rating on Google and Yelp and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmares today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-506-9295. That's 800-506-9295. Tax Relief Advocate. Real solutions for real people.
If you're hiring, it can feel like you're trying to find a needle in a haystack. You can hope the right person comes along, or you can just use ZipRecruiter. And now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. In fact, ZipRecruiter has helped a lot of business owners find their needle in a haystack, like Marco, president of operations at Telly Tires and Auto Centers. Because Telly Tires has grown a lot in the last few years, Marco needed to hire everyone from a receptionist to a store manager to a head mechanic. ZipRecruiter helps you find all the right people, even the most difficult jobs. ZipRecruiter helps you keep your business. Take it from Marco and millions of other businesses who use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter can help you find that needle in the haystack. See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/RADIO. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. Restrictions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider will determine if appropriate restrictions apply. See website for details and important CPA
HIMS.com/radio for your free online visit. HIMS.com/RADIO.
Get ready for the big game with the free iHeartRadio app. Pre-game with perfectly tailored playlists like Big Game, Tailgate Party, and more. Just open the free iHeartRadio app. Search Tailgate and listen now. Make the big game great with iHeartRadio. We never sounded so good. Portions of the following program will be recorded.
I am a new purveyor.
You're a purveyor of the thread arts yourself.
I'm trying, and it is not a gift. It's been a struggle. It's tough, man. Your fingers cramp up. I screwed up the starter weight things. I could redo that, and that took me like 10, 11 different tries. And it was like 2 hours it took me to get to that.
Jerry and Shannon. Stick with it. Live 9 to 1 p.m. on KFI and on demand anytime on the iHeartRadio app.
And this is KFI AM 640. Bill Handel here on a Wednesday morning hump day, and a lot going on today. The FBI director, Christopher Wray, today is expected to warn us, Americans, that the Chinese hackers are preparing to wreak havoc and cause real-world harm to the U.S. I mean, it is a mess, god-awful mess. And this is where I look at former President Trump being absolutely right as far as our enemy is really China. All right, back we go. Dean Sharp, Dean at Home with Dean is the show. Home with Dean Sharp, House Whisper, Saturday, 6 to 8 a.m., Sunday, 9 a.m. to 12, and his social address is at Home with Dean. All right, Dean, we're going to go back, and we are going to finish the segment on part 4 and 5. If you want, I know you're doing part 4 and 5 this weekend of building your dream house. Are you going to let us know a little bit in advance about part 5, or are you going to hold off for the weekend and tease it here?
No. Well, let's talk a little bit about part 5. Part 5 is actually when we step into the fit of it as far as what you as a homeowner are looking for in sense of your design. And I teach my clients design from a very particular perspective. I want to make it as easy for them to understand and to remember their priorities as possible. I don't want to bore them with a bunch of architectural mumbo-jumbo. You can go read tomes and tomes and tomes of it everywhere. But essentially, for me, it boils down to this, and this has become something that people can really understand and get behind. Human architecture is for human beings. And what I mean by that is simply this. All art is this way. It is the way we are as people and the way we observe and experience the world through our 5 senses. So my priority when it comes to design for any space, whether it's just, what pillows are going to go on this bed, all the way up to what's this brand new house from the ground up going to look like, we are dealing with the 5 senses, 4 or 5 senses. And the top of that list is what we're covering in step 5 this weekend. Sight. It's the most important human sense. Study after study, the vast majority of people, you can interview 1 million people, and we will always get the same number. Somewhere between 70 and 80% of people who respond say that vision is one sense that they don't want to have to live without. If you could only have one sense left, vision is the one that everybody wants. And that's no surprise then that architecture and most art, more than anything else, is vision. So I get rid of that sense on Sunday show.
All right, so a question I want to throw at you. I have known, and I'm talking probably 30 people who have either done major remodels or have built homes. Not one of them had a project, a home, or remodel that came in on or under budget and on or the time that was supposed to, that right in the contract. It just never happened. Certainly didn't happen to me.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and so should everybody expect that?
No, you don't have to expect it. You should plan for it, but you don't have to expect it. There are, in fact, it's kind of like with the situation with the stories that everybody ends up getting told and passing around. Of course, just like in the news, are the most interesting, the bloodiest, the nastiest, the worst stories around. There are, surprisingly enough, a lot of projects that come in on time and on budget. There are. Of course, there are contingencies. because when we get the plans right, everything else can flow easily as possible. Now, construction is stressful. It simply is. There are a lot of variables, but on time and on budget is not some mythical, unicorn out there. It actually does happen.
All right, so one last question, and I want you to comment on this. This is more what you think. When I built the Persian house, that's the only house that I built from scratch. My philosophy is the day I moved in was actually the day I listed it for sale. That I want to make sure this is the most saleable house I could possibly build, within, of course, the parameters of what I wanted. Comment.
I don't really have a problem with that. I have a problem with people who put the saleability of the house for somebody else above their own wish list on a house, but I don't think you have to make the decision between the two if you're designing it right. We always want people to take risks and to push out and being creative and make a greenhouse truly yours. But if you do it according to the best practices and rules of architecture, you're going to create a house that a lot of people will want to live in.
Okay, and when I list the house, I'm sure the interest is going to be among the lefty voters, and that's it, because it's a really strange house. Dean, thank you. That's it this weekend. We're building your dream house part 4 and 5, and that's Saturday 6 to 8 a.m., Sunday 9 a.m. to 12. Have a good one, Dean. That's a good one. All right, coming up, it's Gary and Shannon. So, Gary, what's going on?
Well, we're going to have the latest. We keep waiting for whatever response Joe Biden has planned for the attack on the American outpost there in Jordan. We could see something today. We have a very special guest coming up in the 9 o'clock hour to talk about storms. It's KTLA's Henry DiCarlo. And then, of course, we have just death and destruction happening in 2 of the most liberal cities on the West Coast. San Francisco has had fentanyl overdoses well above the national average. And then the city of Portland has also had to declare a state of emergency because of the amount of fentanyl on the streets there. We're talking about all of that. Parenting with Justin Worship, what you watching Wednesday, and even a baby healthy Loris. Slow Loris. Not the fast ones, the slow ones. That's all coming up on Gary and Shannon.
KFI and KOST HD2 Los Angeles, Orange County.
Rock. Without the tilt.
KFI.
And KOST HD2.
Los Angeles, Orange County.
Live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app.
Trafficking in a trio of countries. I'm Amy King, live from the KFI 24-hour newsroom. The FBI in LA says 19 people have been charged in connection with a major drug trafficking scheme across the U.S., Mexico, and Canada. The feds recovered hundreds of pounds of meth, cocaine, and fentanyl that were smuggled from Mexico, channeled through LA, and on the way to Canada. U.S. Attorney Martina Estrada says the feds believe the organized crime syndicate is connected to the cartel.
We've disabled a major network of drugs, not just in our country, but also Canada. And we're going to hold the people accountable who brought these drugs into our country.
Estrada says 10 people were arrested yesterday, 2 were already in custody, and 7 others are still on the run. The feds say the amount of drugs seized has an estimated street value of up to $28 million. Chris Adler, KFI News. A man's been arrested for allegedly shooting another guy who used a women's restroom at a park in Redlands.
The man shot both police. He tried using the men's restroom first, but it was being used while he was inside the women's restroom over the weekend. 2 girls walked in, spotted him, and quickly walked out. One of the girls told Rudy Vasquez the guy was in the restroom. Vasquez allegedly shot the man in the knee and hit him with a gun when he left the restroom. Police say Vasquez took off in an SUV. He was arrested about a mile from the park. Police say he threw a gun out his car window while he was being pulled over. The man shot is expected to survive. Reporting live, Blake Stroller, KFI News.
A suspected hit-and-run driver who killed a man trying to cross the street in South LA has turned himself in. Mark Taylor had been riding a motorcycle in Maine when he allegedly hit the elderly man crossing Western Avenue. Detectives had offered a $50,000 reward yesterday for information leading to the arrest and conviction of the driver. Parents in Porter Ranch say the LA school district may be forcing middle schoolers onto a high school campus because of overcrowding. Christy Rose says parents are outraged at the district's proposal to move 6th through 8th graders into bungalows at Chatsworth High School.
They are including us and letting know what's going on. It's disheartening. We're supposed to be a family, and I would love if there was advice
people have been hurt in a plane crash near Camarillo. The small plane went down yesterday afternoon near a water treatment facility. The 2 people in the experimental aircraft were taken to the hospital. They're expected to be okay. A man in Pennsylvania accused of killing his father and then showing his decapitated head on a YouTube video has been arrested. Police Chief Joseph Barteria says the man was found about 100 miles away from the scene yesterday.
I think the neighborhood can rest easy because I think they were a little uneasy for a while before they knew where the person of interest was.
In the video first posted to YouTube, the man is seen wearing gloves and holding a head in a plastic bag. He goes on to talk about right-wing conspiracy theories, calls his father a traitor for being a federal employee, and demands the death of all federal officials. The Department of Justice is investigating Missouri Democratic Congresswoman Cori Bush for her campaign spending on security services. Bush has denied any wrongdoing. He says she is fully cooperating with the department. She claims she has faced relentless threats to her physical safety since she was elected in 2020. She says she is not entitled to personal protection by the House, so she used campaign funds instead to retain security services. William Hung, whose American Idol audition in 2004 went viral, is going to work for the LA County Sheriff's Department. He'll be working as a crime analyst. Hung, who's now 41, had a job several years ago but left for a career as a professional poker player. Hung says that about ruined his life. He says he developed a serious gambling addiction, costing his marriage. Southland weather from KFI, partly cloudy, with highs in the mid-60s at the beaches, near 70 for Metro LA and Inland Empire. 60s to low 70s in the valleys and Inland Empire. 50s and 60s in the Emerald Valley. Rain is expected to start falling after midnight. Then expect to see rain tomorrow, heavy at times, with thunderstorms possible in the afternoon. High to be in the 50s to low 60s. Smaller chance of rain on Friday and Saturday. Then another storm is expected to move in to Southern California on Sunday, and it's going to hang around for 2 days. 56 in Anaheim, 56 for Napa Beach, 57 in West Covina, 59 in Rancho Cucamonga. The KFI market report, the Dow is trading up 24 points. The Nasdaq is off 210. S&P 500 down 40. Let's check in now with the KFI in the sky. We got a crash in Mira Loma, almost 60.
This one just got pushed over the 60 freeway westbound at Etiwanda. Crash there, starting off on the right shoulder of the traffic. Still pretty slow back from Country Village Road. South LA, it is slow on that 110 northbound from Sales to Austin between the Boulevard. There's a whole lot of traffic there. Earlier crash still being worked on in Greenwood, 405 northbound before Manchester traffic. Pretty slow back from Coast to Vento, even though that was off on the right shoulder. And this second got a small visit on the 57 northbound past Aldous Road. Overall, no huge, big, super large incidents anywhere or not what we're seeing the people that way. We're full flight. Hey, Steve Sharp, you know, for years now, I have told you that there are only 2 types of solar companies in Southern California, Sunlight and everyone else. And year after year, Sunlight proves me right. The same is now true of the newest addition to the Sunlight's family, all-guard roofing. All this time on the roof, dealing with roofing, Sunlight knows how rare it is to find a worker worthy of your trust. Their answer? Assemble a dream team of the finest roofing professionals.
Hello, my name is Michael Rothschild, and my public defender told me in jail earlier this week that once I got out, I should call this number.
Okay, who is your public defender?
You know what? I don't remember.
That's okay. I'll go ahead and look it up for you. Can I get your first name?
Michael, Michael,
And your date of birth?
12/26/85.
Okay, and do you have a middle name?
Yisrael?
With a Y?
Yes.
Okay, and your last name?
Rothschild, ROTHSCHILD.
Savings based on cost of consumer cellular single line 5 gigabyte data plan with unlimited talk and text compared to lowest cost single line postpaid unlimited talk, text, and data plan offered by T-Mobile and Verizon May 2023.
Are you a victim of the concert trap and think there's no way out? I'm Chuck McDowell, the founder of Westwood Financial Group, the original concert cancellation expert. And I'm here to tell you that there is a way out.
So your public defender is Wayne Davis. Let me go ahead.
I'll send you a concert exit information kit absolutely free, explaining how
let me go ahead and give you the number to reach him at.
Okay.
It's going to be 657
Okay.
251
Okay.
6674.
Excellent. And do I have to call him or can I just show up for court?
I am understandably curious. Shannon Barron used sarcasm and distance people.
And yet you're still here.
Jerry and Shannon. You think that's all wrong? That's all viral.
You can just show up to court. It says your first hearing is going to be February 6th at 8:30 a.m.
Exactly. Okay. Thank you so much for your help. Is there anything else I have to do?
No.
Okay. Wonderful. Thank you.
No problem.
Bye-bye.
Viral mental health checking. This is accurate. President Biden has reposted Elmo's post on social media. Now, this all started when Elmo decided to check in with people on social media. How y'all doing?
Literally, he just said, listen, if whoever writes Elmo's Twitter account, was it Twitter? Said something like, I'm just checking in, how's everybody doing?
And so everyone began what they call trauma dumping in the comments on Elmo's post.
That's a good term.
And so Elmo reposts and says, wow, Elmo is glad he asked. Elmo learned that it's important to ask a friend how they are doing. Elmo will check in again soon. Friends, Elmo loves you. Heart, hashtag emotional well-being. The president reposted that and said, I know how hard it is some days to sweep the clouds away and get to sunnier days. Our friend Elmo is right. We have to be there for each other. Offer our help to a neighbor in need, and above all else, ask for help when we need it. Even though it's hard, you're never alone. And I think that's lovely. I do. But what the hell are we going to do about Iran?
Well, whoever's posting on behalf of the president needs to stop. They need to read the room. They still need to see what's going on. And as fun as it is that Elmo is, pulling back the curtain when it comes to mental health. There are also things going on right now that would probably be better served if they were being paid attention to by the administration.
Are you wearing 4 layers today?
No, just 3 as a matter of fact. But yesterday I was so cold. My hands were so cold when I left this room yesterday that it took an entire half an hour of driving home for them to finally warm up. That was not.
You could have just asked Mondo to warm you up.
To just sit on my hands for a while.
Yeah, or put them under his armpits like this.
But I could have asked them. You are right.
It works better when you have boobs.
It does, and as one who is not gifted in that area, I mean, I know what you say, but
You're well endowed.
my hands stay cold.
In your chest.
So,
Oh yeah, did you hear this? This is like basically grandpa's on.
What's up, Bob? How are you?
hold on a second. Mark Zuckerberg is addressing the gallery, not the senators.
Rocking out.
Taking it,
What's new with you?
taking it all morning. Okay, so the leaders of the top social media companies.
I understand, my man.
On Capitol Hill today. CEOs from Meta, TikTok.
I'm just chilling, baby.
Board and X. They've all faced accusations from senators that they're failing to protect children from sexual exploitation. Lindsey Graham told Mark Zuckerberg he has blood on his hands. He said that many minors have committed suicide after becoming victims of sex extortion scams online. Dick Durbin claims social media is giving.
Hi, how are you, James?
new tools to abuse children.
Better than I was yesterday. I met a really interesting person. I'd love to. So I was in jail, right? Okay. And I'm in a predicament because, and I understand. Oh, let me just check this text message. This person is amazing. Okay. So I was in a real predicament. Like I'm a survivor, but I was like, man, okay, I just got out of jail and I don't want to go back to jail. But the old person who owns the house came to the door yesterday. I thought he said he would give me till June, but he said, no, you have to get out tomorrow, basically today. And I was like, holy shit, what am I going to do? That means, okay, I'm homeless in California. That means all my streams are down. That means I'm in survival mode. I have to get to a shelter they're overfilled. I'm not prepared to survive on the streets right now. We've got really bad weather coming when it comes to a lot of rain, and I don't have a tent. They took my shoes in jail. They took my Sproto mask. They took my Sproto pants. I don't even have that kind of stuff. So I would be in sad shape. So the first thing that I would do if I had to do that though is get to a shelter. And if they said, "Hey, we can't, no room at the inn, dude," I'll just wait outside the shelter, and they'll get to know me after a couple days and be like, "Okay, we know this guy." I'll go to the nearest bus stop and just stand, like literally sit at a bus stop for days while the rain passes. And but here's what happened. I haven't talked to my family. Not that there's anything wrong with them. I just was streaming my life and I didn't really want them to know about it. So I hadn't talked to them in 3 years. I called my aunt yesterday and I was like, look, I was arrested, yada, yada, yada. And she's so cool. She's like, you can come live with me at least till May 15th. Because her son, she's in Florida right now. And her son comes up to visit her from Florida. And she's like, yeah. And I was like, wow, I can hitchhike home, I think. She's like, no, we'll pay to get you home. How nice is that? It's incredible. It gave me hope. So I was like, oh my God, thank you so much. This gives me hope. Like, okay, so that means maybe try to stay here somehow. So then I put out an ad in Craigslist really quickly with my mugshot, and because I don't want to hide anything from anyone. And a few people texted me. So not a lot, but like some gay guys who wanted sex and stuff. And I thought about it. I even thought, as like a caregiver, what would I do? I would give a guy a massage, because I have all kinds of massage tools. I have like rolling pins, and so I wouldn't necessarily have to like get in there with like my hands as much. And just one moment, let me just see what this person is saying. So I put out an ad in Craigslist, and somebody got back to me, and this person is like, yeah, I've got a room, you can just live in it. And you can just live in it. He's like, but there's something that I want you to know about me. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm all ears. He's like, I'm blind. I'm like, oh, not that I want him to be blind, but that's great. I can help him because I'm really techie and I'm really savvy. And fortunately, I do have my sight, even though it's not that great. It's better than being blind. So we started talking about that last night on the phone. And we talked for like an hour, and I asked him about his hobbies. And so, when you're blind, you don't necessarily know about all that there is perhaps in the world. Not that even you or I do with sight. But he wasn't as savvy with podcasts as I think perhaps might have been beneficial to him. And so I asked him, what is it that is of interest to you? And he said, old time radio specifically. He's like, oh, old time radio, like the 30s, the 40s, the 50s. He's like, exactly. Like big radio dramas and mystery theater, that kind of stuff he likes, because it creates a whole world audioly, and that is something that kind of puts everybody on the same plane. Exactly.
Are you a business owner, CEO, or responsible for marketing? If you are, iHeart Media can help you reach your goals and find new
So,
we reach more consumers in more targeted
basically, we talked for like an hour last night, and I can just, you can just tell. I mean, I can tell with you, James, but where somebody has a good heart and they're like, you don't think this is a scam or whatever. And so I told him, look, here's the deal. I don't know if I'm gonna have to be out in 1 day or 1 month. I told the person who owns the house, please give me 1 month. And they turned their back on me and just walked down the stairs. So whether that was yes or no, I don't know. I did have a thing on my door that said I had to get out. Uh, but okay, so they kicked me out. Fine. I'll walk to this guy's house or I'll take the bus. And that gives me an opportunity. And even I have court next week. I just called about it. I'm going to plead nolo contendere. It's a case that is a year. It took the DA a year and a half over a text message that someone allegedly, uh, over an alleged text message that I allegedly sent. And it wasn't like an instant thing. This isn't something that was recent. This happened allegedly in 2001 or 2021. So we're looking at 3 years now. So it's like you could have sent a text message 3 years ago that somebody didn't like, and you didn't have the police at your door. But nevertheless, without getting into specifics, because I really would. I mean, I'm an honest person, and I will put everything out there. There's not too much I can do about it right now. So I called the public defender's office and told them that I would be in court on Tuesday, and they said okay. They gave me my public defender's telephone number. I'm gonna call them. I think, but they said I didn't need to. That just to show up. And I spoke with this person. Here's the thing. I know you're gonna say, well, what's the name of the person, the blind friend? I don't know. I don't remember. It was like when you first meet someone and you're all like flustered and it goes right by you. So, but he's cool. We have a good enough relationship that I'll be able to say to him, hey, here's the funny thing. I was so excited to make a friend. I didn't even catch your name. One of those things, and it'll be kind of one of those things about which you can laugh. And he's really into old time radio. And all I do is listen to things and stream my life. So I told him, hey, so he texted me last night after we had spoken, and he was like, it was really nice meeting you. And I said, or I texted him, and then he texted me back, and it's like, okay, we have a new friend. So I wake up this morning, and we start texting, and I said, hey, do you want to listen to one of those old time radio programs together? Because it would just be like listening to a podcast. All I do is take one device, put it next to my phone, and listen to it alongside him. And he was like, oh my God, I would love that. I'll get my popcorn. I'm going to the Braille Institute, though. Can we do it this afternoon? I was like, oh, totally. So we've got that going, which is great for both of us because for me, I get to learn a little bit about his world and we'll get to build a relationship. And for him, I hope it provides some, and for me as well, entertainment to listen to some of these shows. I read him a list of the shows that they had available just on his phone on the podcast app, of which he wasn't really aware because very few people use the podcast app, the default one on an iPhone. It's that purple one. A lot of people use Spotify or iHeartMedia or something like that, but so I'm excited for that. That means I have options. Basically, like best case scenario, I get to stay in this house for 1 more month at least, and do everything I can to go viral. But then maybe move in with him and not have to move back. But if I had to, I have an option. As of yesterday, my options were go back to jail, which is terrible, but it could have been a lot worse. I was in a very different kind of situation where, since I need a CPAP to sleep usually, or I should, it's like a medical disability, so I got to be in the medical area, but it wasn't good. It's not like they treat you nicely, but it was better than normal. I got to watch the AFC and the NFC championships. Who else gets to say that? There's a lot like Jailhouse Rock. There was like we all kind of banded together, but I don't want to go back. So there was jail, there was homeless, which was just living under a bus shelter until my court date, and now I've got some options. So options are always good, right, James? Oh, no, she lives in the Midwest, but she visits Florida a lot. Her son, my cousin lives in Florida, so she visits him in the winter, kind of like a snowbird, and so she won't be back until for like 2 weeks, which is fine. Even if I had to spend 2 weeks, God willing, I won't have to, but under a bus shelter on the street, if I had an option out, that's better than full-on homelessness. It's always better. I've lived in my car. I sold my car for this project, James. I did everything. No one has dedicated themselves to world peace anymore. And I've thought about this a lot. like people say, is there anything that that you do again? And yeah, of course, everybody always can do things differently. But at the end of the day, I'm really proud of my work. I have the world's largest archive of media and global history. It's just nobody knows about it. Maybe someday somebody will, and it could still get very, very popular. And in the meantime, I'll continue to do everything I can. I'm very comfortable being on camera, and all that it has to happen is the right people have to learn that there's this much media online, a time capsule of society. Hey, let me grab this call. Just one moment. This is Rabbi. This is Rabbi. Hello? Hello? Hello?
And I've been asking for you for weeks, so thank you for taking the time to join us.
Oh, Shannon, Gary, I'm happy to be here. I appreciate you saying that, and always happy to be part of your home and give a little weather. So thanks for watching TCLA. We do appreciate it. Let me ask you this: being a weather guy in LA,
I think he just accidentally dialed me.
but specifically LA, do you get made fun of by other weather people from different parts of the country where they actually have weather? No, I don't necessarily make fun of them.
So anyway, I mean, my life has just been a whirlwind. I'm sore from being in jail, meaning like, everything's really hard and cold. Um, and certainly when I got home, it wasn't any better. I mean, it's better to be in bed, but it's like everybody's mad at me here. Nobody wants the guy who got arrested in the house here. So, but honestly, I have hope, and hope is a beautiful, beautiful thing. And I'm going to tell you this. Oops, no, he called me again. There you go. This is Rabbi. Hello? Hello? Hello, yes. Can you hear me? Hello, can you hear me? Hello, yeah, are you calling me?
Yes, I'm calling you.
Hi, how are you?
I just want to hear your voice.
Oh, absolutely. It's a beautiful thing to hear your voice as well. How you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Sorry,
Getting ready to take off.
absolutely. Sorry we didn't I missed your first call or you couldn't hear me. I didn't know if you had accidentally dialed me or what. So
No, I tried to call you. I don't know if I'm going to stop by and have my phone checked out because sometimes that happens and I'm not sure why.
certainly. Hey, they're gonna come out in the next 5 years with a Braille phone. They already have the models of them. So it's a phone, but actually Braille comes out of the it's like adaptive. So the screen starts flat, but then Braille shows up wherever there's text on the page. And I think that's gonna be a game changer. I've already seen some prototypes of it. So that's something about which to get very excited.
Oh my goodness. How exciting is all this?
It's very exciting. I mean this. I mean, of all the times for you to be present and to have this, it's a beautiful one because you're going to have perhaps a before and an after of your life. I mean, like we said, a generation or two ago, there aren't that many options. Now, we're looking, like I said, I would be surprised if you lived another 41 years and you aren't a fully sighted human. And there are all kinds of really exciting. And again, if you don't want to get there, that's okay. A Braille phone is a great step as well. Are you an expert in Braille? I imagine.
Oh yeah.
So
I'm grade 3, so I don't know what to
so you could even probably be like an advanced user of this type of equipment. Once we see it, if it's of interest to you, we would get you in a pilot program so that they give you a device so that you're able to give them feedback on it. But then you'd be really, in the pilot seat essentially, if that would be of interest to you as well,
Yeah. Well,
because they need people to be able to troubleshoot these devices before it goes in the mainstream blind world. And of course, the people who they would want to do that are people who have perhaps an excellent grasp on the ability to use Braille, and you would be one of them. You could be able to say, you know, the the dots. I don't know what you call them. What do you call them? Dots, Braille. The imprints are in the wrong spot, or I want the font to be bigger, or whatever. You know, you could really customize it for people. So that's really exciting. Oh, absolutely. We'll find a program, especially in the state of California. We're going to be the trailblazers for that type of technology. So, you know, and there's like California Institute for the Blind. There are all kinds of um, groups we can to whom we can reach out and say, hey, you know, this kind of technology, even just the company, it just takes an email to say, hey, we know that you're working on this type of technology, and when you want to get in the when you have prototypes of it, when you're at the user testing stage, please let us know. We'd like to be on your soft list, to be on that, to be a part of that group, to give you feedback on it before it goes mainstream. And I think we'll be able to get that. And there are several companies who are doing it, and that changes everything too. Because imagine once that technology is in a phone, then that means it's going to be on like public boards, like a menu. It could be on like at the mall, those public boards that are like flat, any kind of flat screen at an airport. All this stuff could be adaptive, and that could be very beneficial to people as well. Well, I am so glad we met. You know, some other things about which I'm excited when it comes to vision are the ability I read to so you know how normally we sleep and you fall asleep. Well, in the future, people will see that time as valuable, and so we'll actually be able to stay conscious while we sleep and enjoy things. So you would be at the same state as I am. You know, did you hear as well today? They just announced the first successful Neuralink transplant in a human. Oh my God, this is for you. I mean, I would say this: I don't want any I didn't want any. I don't want anything in my body. Meaning, like I'm kind of like a natural person, but but if I had an issue like perhaps hearing or vision or paralysis, I would look into more exploratory options just because I would need to bridge that gap. Well, at least Neuralink is supposed to be the answer for that. And what is that? So I don't know if you're familiar with Neuralink, but this is Elon Musk's company. So Elon Musk, the SpaceX guy and the Tesla guy, I don't know if you're familiar. He's the richest publicly known person in the world. So he has a company called Neuralink, and what this has done over the course of the last 5 years is done trials, first on like small mammals, and then going into primates. And now I believe it's an actress was the first person to be a human trial of what is called Neuralink, which is essentially something that connects to the brain. It's a brain technology interface. But what this is supposed to do, and this is what they're announcing on the news, is this is supposed to first help people who are paralyzed and people who are blind. Those are the first two people it's supposed to help. And so now, like, you know how we were saying, I don't want you to be the guinea pig for anything either. I don't think that's a good idea. Like, let's make sure it works. But this isn't anymore like, oh, in 5 or 10 years they're going to be doing this on people, and that really takes 10 or 20. No, I mean this was this is on the radio today. This is a successful Neuralink implant. The person's alive, and so what this is supposed to do is really change the game for a human. No longer will you have to like memorize really long paragraphs of things. This could be essentially in your head already. Data could be in your head, but also the ability to recreate the visual cortex is something that this has the ability to do. This is really supposed to help people with disabilities first and foremost, and people with any kind of paralysis and blindness. Though that's exactly for what it was. So you're like the perfect person. I mean, the timing couldn't be more beneficial. I think for all of this to be coming together, and also as exciting as it is, I completely understand any concerns that you may have as well. You like your world, maybe it might be nice to have some little bit easier things, but you don't have to go jumping in fully. As of right now, into full brain Neuralink interface, I completely understand that too. But just know that there are going to be people out there who will have experiences saying, I was blind from birth and now I have sight because of this technology. And you may hear them and it may become more and more common, and you may say, oh, I might give it a shot someday. Absolutely.
We won't continue to enable the companies to continue the injustices that they do with their own workers.
That's a beautiful thing. I am too. I'm so glad I found you. I was just telling someone about you, how happy I was to have met you and to have a new friend first and foremost, and how beneficial we were together. So I don't know. Like I was talking to this person. And I was saying all uh, the benefits that I think we could be to each other, particularly when it comes to audio. Are you familiar with the social media app Twitter? Yes. So Elon Musk, the guy who owns Neuralink and SpaceX and Tesla, he owns Twitter as well. He's buying a lot of things. Yeah. So it was a big deal. He's owned Twitter for about a year. So now it's changed over. Its new name is X. Well, if you ever hear me just say Twitter, just know I'm talking about X. They're the same thing, but I'm kind of old school, if you know what I mean. And also, X to me is still a letter, and so just if I say Twitter, okay, I think you know what I'm saying. Well, Twitter is usually text, so I could understand how that's not of too much benefit, but Twitter has a feature that's been around now for 3 years that is amazing. It's called Twitter Spaces. And what is that? Twitter Spaces is basically like party lines. Do you remember party lines from the 1980s? You may not. You're a little young for this. But basically, in the 1980s, there was this, you could call like a 900 number and talk to all your friends and be billed by the minute. And they were very popular. The way that I found out about them, actually, I dated a girl. She ran a campaign, believe it or not, for a blind candidate. And this blind candidate got really big into being a DJ, everything audio. And he was a DJ, and he also ran party lines in the 1980s. And so he was really into audio. So that's how I learned about party lines. And essentially a party line would be like what we have going on right now, but our friends could call into it and maybe like 4 or 5 of us could talk at once. Well, what Twitter Spaces is the same thing, except you can have a million people in it. And not everyone talking at the same time, only 10 people at once. But it's on every kind of topic that you would want. So I want you to know that basically, like, you should never feel like you are in the desert of like being social or anything. There are, and I'm going to teach you these. I'll show you using my own devices, and you can hear what it's like. But the reason why I mention this is I've made friends using this technology, and here's how. I would go onto Twitter Spaces, which are these audio rooms. They're not visual yet. They're talking about visual, but a lot of people on Twitter Spaces don't want it to be visual. They like the audio part of it, and I think that's really good for someone like you, because everybody's on the same playing field then. And what I would do, I like trivia, and so I would go into these spaces, and when the space was boring, I would volunteer my services, and I'd say, hey, would anybody like to play trivia? And boy, it got really popular. And one of the groups was a cryptocurrency group. I don't know if you know what cryptocurrency is, but essentially it's an alternative against fiat currency, or like the dollar. Basically, economies that can be influenced more by uh, companies to move away from that kind of system and more towards independent financial growth. So these people are really into Bitcoin and that kind of stuff. And they really liked me. And they're like, hey, we want you to join our company, not company, our community. And they sent me a bunch of, they know I stream my life on the internet and that there's a lot of advertising opportunity there. So I have been, they sent me all kinds of um, clothing, and they sent me all kinds of bedding, and and then they allow me to stream my life in their community. So every single day they come in and they say hi to me. I mean, that's who I was talking to. So it's like I have, friends there, and they can see me. It's like it's like I'm a fishbowl. They can literally watch me whenever they want and see what my world is like. And so I'm a very open person. I'm very honest, and I do everything that the normal person does, I think. And so I'm not afraid. I literally allow people to watch me sleep. And there are people who sleep alongside me. People eat alongside me. They just like knowing somebody's out there. It makes them feel comfortable. It's exciting because that's the future where people are basically can interact with you. And at least on Twitter Spaces, people love it because they're able to discuss whatever they want for free. And they don't have to talk if they want. So there are people on Twitter Spaces. I don't know what other hobbies you have other than old time radio. Excellent. Oh, and then you can give concerts on there if you wanted to, and a lot of people will attend, and you can even make money if you wanted. So what you would do, and I can help you with this, very easy. You schedule a concert, and you'd be like piano concert. I had a friend of mine who did this too. I know you got to get going for the bus, so just tell me when you need to go. If you need to go now, we can talk about this later. Let's talk later then. Excellent. We'll talk about setting up, maybe listening to you on the piano on Twitter Spaces, and if not, we've got old time radio this afternoon. I'm really excited for it.
Yeah, me too. I've been thinking about it all the time. I'm going to get a new game. And, I might get two of them.
Do it.
For a backup. To use every day.
Absolutely. Are they foldable? Telescoping?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. I do have 3 games I really like. But the problem with it is, like if you're in or something, you want to fold it up. You have to have it like on the floor or something.
Right.
Anyway, it's not as convenient. And one thing that you can help me with together is I tend to rock.
Sure. That's common.
Well, I know some people, it's probably not all that effective. So
I don't mind that at all. I can understand it's a completely normal thing.
And sometimes I'll snap my fingers.
That's okay.
Well, all the things.
Absolutely. I have, please remember I have cousins who are blind. Fortunately, I have my sight, but I've done my best to overcome some things, and everybody's got little things. And you're a musical person. And so, I think probably the rhythm and vibrations of society run through you, and it's just kind of an expression of yourself. So I'm not worried about that at all. And I like snapping too. So here you go. I'm a good snapper. I love you too. Excellent. Enjoy the Braille Institute. Call me when you'd like. I'm all for it. Excellent. And you've been eating well. Everything's good with your health and everything, God willing. Excellent. Okay. Excellent. We'll talk later. You take care. Love you too. Bye. Yo, dog. What up, Bitcoin? What up? More light. More lights in here. What up, baby? Wow, we got the whole crew in here. How you living, babies? Hey, if anybody didn't know, I made a friend. If you're like, what's his name? I don't know. You're like, you're saying you love him. I know, but he's a really nice person, and I do. I just don't remember his name. Why? Because we just met yesterday. I got really desperate, guys. I mean, if you don't know, I was in jail, and the DA brought a case against me 3 years ago, and it took him 1.5 years to bring charges in. Anybody can, and for what was it? Allegedly, I sent a text message somebody didn't like. So anybody can do that. I didn't punch anybody. I didn't hurt anybody physically. So I didn't embezzle anything. Anybody can send a bad text message. I think that's understandable. But so I called the prosecutor, or I called the public defender and told him I'll be on court. But I'm getting evicted. That's a big deal in my world. I was facing homelessness and either jail again. I mean, that's not anything you want to do. You guys see my life. I don't do anything that exciting. Um, but nevertheless, those aren't places that you want to be. And so I haven't spoken to my family since I started streaming my life. I didn't really want them to know about it, but I got desperate and I called my aunt, and she was so nice. She just gave me hope when I didn't have hope, and I told her I was arrested, and she was like, I'm like, do you think my parents would let me move back in with them? She said, well, you can live with me. I was like, really? She's like, well, at least till May, which is something that's better than being on the street. And that gave me hope. And so I got to talk with her, and I was like, well, I think I could hitchhike home if I needed. And she's like, no, I mean, I'll send you a ticket or something. Well, you don't have to do that. She was just really serious about it. And it gave me hope. And I had to learn all kinds of information at that time. My parents' dogs had died. One of the dogs had been mine. So, it's like you lost a dog, okay, whatever, or dogs, but you move on. And I'm taking all this information on like one at a time. So then I'm like, okay, well, that's really great. I'm going to post something to Craigslist just to see if somebody has an extra room and if I can help them. And in any way. And this person got back to me. They called me twice, actually, and said they had an extra room, but they wanted me to know that they were blind. And I don't want anybody to be blind. I want to help people with blindness. But I want to help. I want to be of use to someone as well. I don't want to just be mooching on someone. So if it can be a mutually beneficial relationship, just so I can stream my life, I'm all about it. And we've developed a really great friendship in 24 hours or so. And so I asked him his interests. One of his big ones is old time radio. And so we're going to listen to old time radio later this afternoon. He's going to the Braille Institute right now. I don't know if you heard. He's getting 2 new canes, hopefully. So that's a good thing. But it keeps me off the street. And so you're everybody's favorite rabbi. I'll hopefully be streaming a little bit longer. I did ask the person who owns the house here if I could stay one more month, and he turned his back and walked down the stairs. He didn't say yes. He didn't say no. So I don't know what that is. That means I could be out. So I just want the community to know why I have time to say it, how much you've meant to me. Literally, I got arrested in your clothing you gave me. I mean, that you can't be any more dedicated to that than that. And I would still be wearing it, but the clothes smelled so badly, they had to burn them. Literally, they're like, nope, they're done. We incinerated those things. So, I did what I could to rep the brand. And I'm going to continue. I mean, I'm not stopping, but I just want everybody to know that what happened to me, because I'm an honest individual and things happen in life. But you know what? I still think that I know I have more data online than any person in global history. That's still worth a whole lot of money someday, perhaps, to someone. And if anything, it's a time capsule of what society has been. And that's very exciting to some people. There's a lot of things that people can learn from almost 3 years of someone's life uploaded to the internet from 360 degrees. So I think it's pretty cool. Anyway, I hope you all are doing well. I'm really glad I met a new friend, though. This person's really nice.
Yeah, every time I look at the type of aircraft in that feedback talking before you make your reservation, or while you're making your reservation,
That's a great question, Turbo Autism. I'm going to try to stay in this house one more month. Oh, I've got court next Tuesday. I've got court on Tuesday. So that's the next move. I have to at least make that court date. I'm going to plead nolo contendere. Basically, I want just probation. I want this to go away. And I think I'll be able to get that. And then I just have to stay good. And so my options are stay in this house maybe one more month. Hopefully I'll be able to do that. Then move in with my blind friend. And that's great. He lives in the same county. He lives in Anaheim, right by Disneyland. So that's cool. And I mean, I'm someone who likes to help people. And I'm really looking forward to helping him. He doesn't know about Twitter Spaces. And I mean, we were just talking about it. That has a really great he has a really great opportunity, I think, to use what he does have. I want him to be able to live life as fulfilled as possible. And I think the way that we're going to be able to do that as friends is through audio. And so I plan on, here's the plan, Turbo Autism, in short, continue building a relationship with him. I want to be his friend the rest of my life. He's a really nice person. I want to help him. I want to see him get sight someday if that's what he wants. But then either move in with him, stay out of jail, and stay not homeless. And then if I need to, I would move back to the Midwest. But fortunately, I have options. And basically this time yesterday, I did not have options. I was really thinking like, oh my God, I'm going to be homeless in 24 hours. And I still might be. So I don't want that to go away. But hopefully I might get another month. And but actually, in its own way, there's some really good parts about this. What are they? One would be free rent in California. You can't beat that. I mean, nobody else is going to give you that. Two, a new friend. That's great. Three, he's going to let me stream my life just as I have been. So the only thing that would change for me here is that you would have a different background, but everything else would be the same. I didn't check if he has the internet. He better have the internet. Oh my God, if he doesn't have the internet, I gotta make sure he's got the internet. I imagine he does. If not, we'll make sure he can get the internet because there are like low-cost programs and things we can do. I'm not too worried about that though. We'll make sure he gets the internet. With that said, I'm gonna try to stay here for another month. I gotta go to court on Tuesday, appear at court, and hopefully I only have to go once. I have to take the bus there, and it's pretty far away, but I'll get there. I'm a survivor, and we're gonna make this coin the global reserve currency someday, and this is just gonna be part of our journey. How are things with you, Turbo Autism? What's new in your neck of the woods? Wow. Did it all make the bowl? Did it all go inside the bowl? The bowl where you poop, did it all go inside? Oh, you needed it. So yeah. Wow. And was it food poisoning or something? Well, even still, that sounds like a better day than I had. I'm in agreement. Well, I'm glad I could catch you up and just keep on surviving, baby. It's the best state in the world. Yeah, it's like 10 times better than anywhere else ever, except Israel. Have you ever seen the girls in California? They're hotter than any chicks anywhere. Dude, there are square miles in West Los Angeles where the amount of hotness per person is so high that it's higher than most countries. I mean to say that I would take some square miles of Los Angeles County over the rest of the United States or the rest of the world. The diversity and beauty so diverse, but you've got models, you've got actors, you've got singers. Everybody's got a price, baby. Take care, Turbo Autism.
Basically from San Francisco north as of right now, as the storm continues to move in through California. We'll see it here start to show up later tonight into tomorrow. Tomorrow, your way to work is going to be an absolute mess. So, but we'll talk about that. At Swamp Watch, of course, we'll talk about the latest. If we do see some sort of action, whatever the decisive response, retaliatory strikes will be from us towards Iran and towards the militias that are associated with them.
Justin Worsham will be along in the 11 o'clock hour. We'll be talking parenting with Justin, things including why exercise is important for children.
See, you heard Amy mention that that flag outside Bruce's beach is gone. Somebody took it.
Yeah, they wanted the money with the copper.
Now, there's also a life-size bronze statue in Garden Park in Wichita, Kansas, that was cut down. This is a life-size statue of Jackie Robinson. Right. Or I should say was. But they cut it off at the ankles, and they found it dismantled and burned about 7 miles away. The Wichita Fire Department responded and said while they were assessing the damage, they realized that it was a statue of Jackie Robinson. Police say they do have surveillance footage of the theft from last Thursday morning. At least 2 people cutting down the statue, putting it in the bed of a truck that had been parked nearby, and then taking it away and trying to destroy it.
It's time to tear in the skies.
Flight 209, you're clear for takeoff. Roger, get off my plane. Roger, Roger. What's our vector? Is it India? Is it India? I have a hand with these multi-line strips on your body.
It's Gary and Shannon's Terror in the Skies. A day of honor.
You know, a week ago, I was driving home listening to John Kilduff's show, and he did a deep dive on Boeing and what changed. We kind of touched on it because we both lived up in Seattle. We covered different Boeing events. It was a company town. It was Fort Knox. They were very protective over the brand. And John broke it down of this change that Boeing went through, where it used to be an engineering leadership type environment, where engineering was the thing. And then it moved into a corporate environment where making money was the thing, and that a lot of engineers became disheartened with Boeing and left, and how it all changed, and it still rushed to get the 737 in operation. Well, now, one-time senior Boeing manager Ed Pearson is saying, I would absolutely not fly a MAX airplane. He said, I've worked in the factory where they were built. I saw the pressure employees were under to rush the planes out the door. Not to mention that the FAA has been dead with the airlines. If you're looking to the FAA to make sure everything's copacetic and safe, there's a lot of, it's kind of like the FDA and the drug companies. There's a lot of incest going on.
A lot of revolving door employment between the two entities. One-time senior Boeing manager, guy named Ed Pearson, told the other time, I would absolutely not fly a MAX airplane. Well, the 737 MAX 9, well, of course, was the one where the door plug flew out. Another engineer, Joe Jacobson, former Boeing engineer, also works at the FAA. Again, there's that revolving door. Gave a similar warning, said it was premature for airlines to have resumed flying these planes, and I would tell my family to avoid the MAX, claiming that his time at the company made him realize that profits were prioritized over that quality control. And he said that change in culture. There are ways for you to find out if the plane that you are, you have your reservation on is going to be one of those airplanes. Now, I guess you could call the airline. Let's assume you're on Alaska Airlines for a flight coming up this weekend, and you know that it was a 737 MAX 849 or whatever, or just even a 737. People will generalize and not take into account the differences between the different models. And say to the airline, I don't want to fly a 737. Now, if you're in Alaska, I don't even think they fly the MD-80s anymore. So you're stuck with a 737. You may not have to fly on a MAX, and you may have to change airlines, you may have to change airports, all of that stuff, if you want to avoid the airplane itself.
Well, good luck with that, too. I don't think that phone call is going to go very far. I don't want to fly my 737. Well, then good day.
Now, that's a
good day, yeah.
Southwest Alaska, I think that's all they fly.
Woman arrested at an airport in Colombia. She had 130 endangered poisonous frogs. To the tune of $130,000. Apparently, poisonous frogs are expensive.
And they said they might pay up to $1,000 a piece. And the scale of that picture right there, you see these gloved hands,
Little baby frogs.
holding the frogs. They're tiny.
They're beautiful frogs, aren't they? Beautiful, brightly colored frogs.
It can be found in an array of color combinations: red and black, yellow and green, orange and silver.
And then there's the woman that flashed the cabin crew, pulling down her pants and underwear, threatened to kill her fellow flyers. Her name's Dulce. She's 60. Dulce Huertas, 60. She had 2 cocktails, and then the culo came out.
Let me just say that this is not a 2 cocktail move. I'm thinking that she had a couple more before she got up.
Officer, I had 2 drinks.
Just 2. Flying from Orlando to Philly, she has to get up and pee. She announces that she has to get up and pee. Flight attendant tells her to sit. Eventually, they tell everybody that they're going to need assistance at the arrival gate. So the captain was notified about the passenger, making an announcement to have everybody continue to sit at the gate. Dulce gets up, pushes other passengers out of the way, where he goes to the bathroom, towards the bathroom, I should say, stops by the cabin crew. She says, "Sorry, everybody," and then pulls down her trousers and underwear as she squats as if to urinate in the aisle.
Good looking ass for 60, isn't it?
What?
Yeah. It's not flat. A nice shape to it.
Can I point to this part?
Well, look at the back. I'm not looking at the front. Look at the back. See?
Stand by. Let me get to that page.
That's a nice shape.
Is that a bruise or a tattoo?
That's a tattoo.
Are you sure?
Nope. All right.
We're
Storm. Atmospheric river. Pineapple Express. Rain.
And
Turn around. Don't drown.
Henry McCown. Gary Chandler will continue. Amy King is going to have an update on the news right after this. Whether you love us, hate us, or haven't made up your mind, we're glad you're here.
KSI.
And KOST HD2.
Los Angeles, Orange County.
Live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app.
There's a crash in Canova Park. I'm Amy King, live from the KFI 24-hour newsroom. The driver of a Toyota Camry has been killed in a crash during a possible street race in Canova Park. LAPD detective Lizette Fuentes says 2 cars were apparently involved overnight. Witnesses are telling us that 2 vehicles were possibly street racing. High rate of speed when one of the vehicles cut off the other vehicle and possibly tapped each other. That's when the driver of the Camry lost control and slammed into a power pole on Topanga Canyon Boulevard in Van Owen. Police are trying to find the other driver, said to be in an older model, possibly black Mercedes. A man in Redlands has been accused of shooting another guy for using the women's restroom at a park.
Rudy Asquez is also accused of hitting the man in the head with a gun. Police say 2 girls spotted the man in the women's restroom over the weekend. One of the girls told Asquez about the man. Asquez then allegedly attacked the man as he was leaving the restroom. Police say Asquez was off in an SUV. Officers pulled Asquez over and arrested him about a mile from the park. Investigators say Asquez threw a gun out
bill to let cities and counties designate areas where adults can drink alcohol in public. It would apply to areas served by bars and restaurants. State Senator Scott Wiener says the goal is economic recovery. He says the bill would responsibly activate downtown streets where activity has struggled to rebound since the start of the pandemic. Construction of a people mover at LAX has been delayed again. A report from the California Public Utilities Commission says the project is mostly done, but the automated people mover is now expected to be completed in April of 2025. One of the three major bond rating agencies in the U.S. says months of disagreements between LA World Airport and the company chosen to operate the system have led to delays and a strained relationship with the two partners. President Biden is planned to visit to the site of the Norfolk Southern train derailment in East Palestine, Ohio. Agency Karen Travers says the derailment forced thousands of people from their homes last year and sparked fears because of the amount of hazardous chemicals that spilled in the area.
The Biden administration faced heavy criticism for its immediate response, and the president's been under pressure to visit the community. The White House says when he goes next month, he meet with residents and assess progress his administration has helped deliver.
Travers says the White House has been working with state and local leaders to protect the community and hold Norfolk Southern accountable. Walmart is offering annual stock grants to store managers in the U.S. as a new incentive. Starting in April, managers could get as much as $20,000 in Walmart stock every year. The company says the amount of grants will vary by store, with those overseeing smaller outlets eligible for less. Walmart says the new starting base salary for managers ranges from $90,000 to $170,000. It previously started at $65,000. Universal Music Group is apparently wishing TikTok nothing but the best and pulling its music from the app. The group that represents Taylor Swift, Drake, Adele, Bad Bunny, and Billie Eilish says a licensing deal between the two parties has expired. UMG says it has not agreed to terms of a new deal with TikTok and plans to stop licensing content from its artists on the platform. Universal claims TikTok doesn't want to pay fair value for the music. TikTok pushed back, saying it reached artist-first agreements with every other label and publisher, and it used Universal as ingredients. We'll check some problems with the 405 right after weather. Southland weather, KFI, partly cloudy with highs in the mid-60s at the beaches, near 70 for Metro LA and Inland OC, 60s to low 70s in the valleys and Inland Empire, 50s and 60s in the Antelope Valley. Rain's expected to start falling after midnight, and rain heavy at times tomorrow with thunderstorms and gusty winds possible. In the 50s to low 60s. A slight chance of showers Friday and Saturday. And then another storm gets strengthened to roll in Southern California on Sunday, and the rain's going to last probably for 2 days. It's 64 in Lake Forest, 61 Aliso Viejo, 62 in Burbank, 63 in Pomona. The KFI market report. The Dow is trading up 43 points. The NASDAQ is down 193. The S&P 500 is off 36. Got a crash in Inglewood on the 405.
And it's making things pretty busy for the San Diego Freeway. This is the northbound side of the 405 at Manchester. It's off to the right shoulder, but a very slow drive as you approach that. Loyal Heights, still on delays from the 10 west at the 5 to about National there. About 25 minutes wait for you. Here's Cerritos, heavy on the 91 Riverside Freeway, westbound from Carmenita, about Downey Avenue, and through South LA. Stop and go on the 110 North Manchester, about Washington, you can find that slow. Got a crash through Anaheim on the 91, westbound at East Street, and through Mountain Valley, 405 southbound at Brookers. Double off to the right, it's going to be a slow drive from about Beach Boulevard. Just give yourself a little room there to make your way through. Also, heading along the 405, this is southbound, so you way from the valley all the way through the Sepulveda Pass into the west side, then about 30-minute wait from the valley and through the Sepulveda Pass. Just give yourself time. And one more northbound on the 215 heavy from Alessandro, stop the 60 connector. KFI in the sky, I'll get you there faster. I'm Mark Wheeler.
Americans paid about $5 billion a year to control termites and repair the damage. More than floods, earthquakes, hurricanes combined. Call Pacific Coast Termite at 800 Pacific for a free home inspection. Certain restrictions apply. No camping ever. Call 800 Pacific. 800 Pacific. Visit PacificCoastTermite.com. Call 800 Pacific. Pacific Coast Termite. Choose Termite.
bizarre tales in a very special episode podcast hosted by Danish Wolfenstein. Every Wednesday, they'll tackle a new stranger than fiction story, like NASA agents cracking down on a black market moon rock trade, a poison Titanic cast, and Mark Twain's pivotal bar fight. New from my Heart Podcast. That is every single one of these episodes. It is the fodder for you to say, I heard the craziest story on this podcast.